What if I told you the next global threat isn't coming from a lab or a crowded city, but from the quietest corners of your own home? Meet the Hantavirus, a silent pathogen that's been flying under the radar for decades. But is it ready to take center stage? First, let's get technical for a second. A virus is basically a tiny biological hacker. It's not even fully alive until it hijacks your cells to make copies of itself. And Hantavirus, it's a specialist. It was first identified during the Korean War in the 1950s near the Hantan River. But here's the twist. It doesn't travel through a cough or a sneeze from another human. It travels through rodents, specifically their waste. Breathe in the wrong dust while cleaning your garage and you've just invited a hitchhiker into your lungs. Everyone asks, is this the next COVID-19? The comparison is actually terrifying. While COVID-19 spread rapidly through crowded cities and subways, Hantavirus works differently. It moves in silence. It is much harder to catch than a cold, but once it enters the body, the danger becomes far more serious. Its mortality rate can reach nearly 38%. But the real modern nightmare is something called the hitchhiker effect. In today's globalized world, Hantavirus no longer stays isolated in forests. Rodents carrying the virus can hide inside massive cargo ships and shipping containers. In just a few days, they can travel from one continent to another. When these ships arrive at ports, they are not only delivering electronics and clothing. They could also be carrying a biological time bomb. A single infected rodent can contaminate an entire cargo area, turning an ordinary shipment into the center of an outbreak. Unlike COVID-19, which spreads through coughing and direct contact, Hantavirus can hide silently in dust inside ships and warehouses. This is what makes it terrifying. An ancient virus is now using modern global supply chains to move across the world. And if the virus ever mutates to spread as easily as the flu while keeping its deadly nature, global ports could become the front lines of an entirely different kind of war. Hollywood has always been obsessed with the idea of the invisible killer, and Hantavirus feels like the perfect real-world inspiration. Think about the 2011 thriller Contagion. The movie captured the terrifying speed of a virus jumping from nature to humans. While the film focused on a respiratory outbreak, the fear of an invisible threat is exactly what makes Hantavirus so disturbing. Then there is Outbreak. A small-town quarantine turns into a desperate fight against a deadly pathogen. And modern audiences saw a similar idea in The Last of Us. Even though the story is based on a fungus, the core concept feels familiar. A silent danger hides in the environment, waiting for one small mistake. In these stories, diseases are not just illnesses. They become nature's way of fighting back against humanity. Even zombie films borrow ideas from viruses like Hantavirus. Movies such as 28 Days Later and World War Z explore what happens when an outbreak spreads faster than humans can react. Hantavirus fits the role of a perfect movie villain. It hides in the shadows, it is extremely deadly, and it attacks when people feel safest inside their homes or workplaces. Hollywood often tells us to look to the skies and fear aliens, but the real danger may already exist around us, invisible to the naked eye. History has always been shaped by invisible enemies. Centuries ago, the Black Death wiped out nearly half of Europe's population. Like Hantavirus, it traveled silently on rodents along ancient trade routes. It proved that a single flea on a single rat could bring empires to their knees. Fast forward to 2020, COVID-19 changed everything. It showed how a respiratory virus could freeze the entire planet within weeks. But while COVID spread rapidly, its fatality rate remained low compared to what nature is truly capable of. Now, enter the Hantavirus. It feels like a terrifying hybrid of two deadly eras. It shares the rodent-borne origins of the plague, but with a modern and lethal precision that makes COVID seem mild. From the Korean War in the 1950s to the shipping containers of 2026, one thing becomes clear. Humanity is not facing a new virus. We are facing an ancient killer that has finally learned how to use global trade routes to its advantage. Could Hantavirus become the next global pandemic? History gives us a warning. The Black Death changed the course of Europe. These events remind us that dangerous outbreaks are never impossible. Hantavirus may not spread as easily as the flu, but its deadly nature makes it a serious threat worth watching closely. So what do you think is more dangerous for humanity? Fast-spreading viruses or silent killers hiding in the shadows? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed videos like this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and click the bell to stay notified about new videos. Catch you later.